A skier was knocked at 109 miles an hour over a short course.
A ski like this takes many years of concentrated effort.
2.5 thumper. Beautiful feet glued together.
Stood up under it all. He's just an amazing young.
Frank, they may not like it.
The 23-year-old from Sydney, Australia, Zolly Stegel, powers out of the gates.
I believe the success of aerial skiing in Australia comes down to the people involved. When you think about Jeff Henke and Jeff Lipschart and everyone at Snow Australia or the Olympic Winter Institute or even the AOC, we're talking about a whole bunch of passionate people behind the scenes. So without the people, there actually isn't a program. 16 years old, I didn't know what aerial skiing was, but I was introduced to the sport by Jeff Lipschart, and Jeff was a passionate freestyle skier up at Mount Buller, and he already had Kirsty Marshall in his stable of young athletes, and she lived Bayside. Me being from Bayside, paths crossed one day, and he could see that I was passionate about acrobatics. I actually wasn't great at acrobatics, but he thought the passion and the drive and the organisation and the willingness to want to try would be enough for me to be successful in the sport. I stayed motivated for 20 years purely because of the love affair I had with the sport. There's no other way around it. Aerial skiing, it can be brutal, it can be cruel, but it's also exhilarating, it's uplifting. It filled my purpose. I absolutely loved it, and I was just as passionate on day one when I first got recruited as I was when I landed my final jumps in Vancouver. My biggest highlight of my career came at Mount Buller. So when Mount Buller hosted the World Cups there in 1999, in September of 1999, I was the World Cup champion, I was the world champion, and I was also a local girl competing there. And it was so nice for me to be able to compete at Mount Buller because so much of that community and so many people had sort of helped with my career. They started my career, they invested in the career, they supported the career, and they'd sort of watched all of it. So for all of that to happen down at Chamois and for me to jump, and for all of those people that had a big deal to do with me, see it all unfold and win there, I sort of liken it to winning a flag at the AFL because during those World Cups, you could hear a pin drop. Those that were working somewhere on the mountain, they took a break at that point to come and watch me jump. People closed their businesses. Dick and Loretta from the supermarket, everyone came into that sort of amphitheatre to watch me jump. And it was just almost like a thank you from me to them to be able to perform at that level and win 2 World Cups that weekend. And then the next year I won another 2 World Cups that weekend. And then the next year I won another World Cup. So I'd have to say that my greatest moments happened at home. I've been following all of our athletes overseas. I follow them on socials. I try to get onto as many live events as possible. I have become almost a bit of a home stalker, to be honest. I'm so proud of all of the athletes across all of the disciplines, and I'm thrilled for all of them. What Australia is doing at every level in winter sport just blows my mind. You know, some of the athletes, they're winning medals, they're placing in the top 10, they're getting personal best, but you can see that improvement, you can see that progression. Australia is just becoming so strong. You know, everyone thought that they had their heyday when Kirsty and I won, and that was like the tip of the mountain. Absolutely not. I'm just so excited to see what the next 4, 8, 12 years on those Olympic cycles brings. And the facility up in Queensland is just going to make that even golder for Australia. And just congratulations to all of the athletes out there. Me as an old girl sitting back here with my kids, they all bounce around wanting to be a Laura Peel. They look at Scotty James and want to be him. It's really exciting, and we're all completely thrilled and proud to be watching all of this happen. The the evolution of aerial skiing happened because we had people along the way that were always very good. So it meant that we could get some more funding, and it meant that some more changes could be made so that we could actually further progress and increase the level of the sport in which we were participating in. So Kirsty Marshall, world champion, World Cup champion. Along comes Jacqui Cooper, World Cup champion, world champion. Then we've got Elisa Camplin, and then we had Lydia, and now we've got Danielle Scott, we've got Laura Peel. But there's been a lot of other girls in between that have also been great and have won World Cup medals. And we wouldn't have been able to progress, we wouldn't have been able to do it if we all didn't play our own part in the legacy of that time. It's a real honour to be awarded a Snow Australia medal, and I actually like the fact that I'm now 10 or 11 years into my retirement, because I feel like there's a greater appreciation for myself of what I've done in sport. When you're in the middle of sport, you're so in it that you actually lose maybe focus on what you've done, and you just want to get to the next win or to the next World Cup or to the next Olympic Games. So having that time, and on reflection, I'm prouder now of what I've done than what I was then. So this award means more now. So I think it's fantastic. I love that the sports community and the skiing community value what I've done, and it makes me proud of the effort that I went to get to that point in my career more than once. That for athletes out there, don't think it's retirement as retiring. Like, you're young, you're not retiring, you're actually just changing your skill set, your job. And it shouldn't be as big a worry as what athletes think it's going to be. Know that that toolbox that you're filling right now, you can't get that anywhere else. You can't get that in university, you can't get it around the corner, and you can't buy that skill set. So for any athlete that's competing for our country, know that what they're doing right now is special, and you can use it later on in life.